Vox Markets is an online community of investors that runs a free mobile and desktop platform that allows you to track news and updates about any UK-listed company, offering RNS push notifications, detailed charts, pricing data, and much more. Find out more at voxmarkets.co.uk/app. The Vox Markets Podcast with Justin Waite. Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. Today is Monday the 14th of December 2020. I'm Francesca Morgan and I'll be filling in for Justin, who'll be returning next week. Today on the podcast, I speak to Clive Beattie, Chief Financial Officer and recent former acting CEO of OnTheMarket. And today we discuss a trading update which came out this morning, which highlights the group as being ahead of expectations during the second half of its financial year.
The Vox Markets Podcast with Justin Waite.
Joining me today on the podcast is Clive Beattie, Chief Financial Officer of OnTheMarket, who released a trading update this morning. Now, before we touch on this trading update, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and the company just to familiarise our listeners?
Of course. Good morning. So OnTheMarket operates a property portal, onthemarket.com, where we display houses for sale or for rent from either estate agents or new home developers. And obviously consumers can come to the website and look for properties they're interested in and then get in touch with the estate agent or the developer through the website.
That's great. Now, you released a trading update this morning. We noticed that you're upgrading forecast to the end of the financial year. What exactly led to this? And can you touch on the trading update a bit more widely?
Yes, of course. So back when we released our interims in October of this year, we gave guidance that we thought would probably be at adjusted operating profit about break even for the year. What we've seen since then is that underlying agency markets have remained quite strong, but in particular, the second lockdown that occurred, agency and new home developer markets remained open. So clearly that's helped our customer base. But at the same time, and most importantly, clearly what customers want is value for money from a service provider. And I think operationally, we've seen very strong levels of lead generation, good numbers and good quality of leads back to our customers. And clearly that, at what I think is a very fair price point, encourages more people to pay us both for those listing services, just displaying properties, but increasingly, actually, we're also seeing additional products, additional opportunities for our customers to either promote themselves, their brands, or to promote individual properties or developments. And those sorts of product sales have also been increasing.
Right. Over the period, you've managed to both reduce costs and conserve cash, which you said is largely attributable to this reduced marketing expenditure. Could you say anything about this and how the budget will change looking ahead?
Yeah, certainly looking ahead, we will be increasing our marketing and our investment generally. We've been pleased with the financial stability of the group through what has been a very challenging year, obviously, with COVID. And obviously, we did reduce our revenues through offering discounts to our customers, which we absolutely felt was the right thing to do. But going forward, we do want to use that financial position now to invest more in the growth of the business. We still see ourselves as an early stage young business with lots of opportunity for growth ahead. And really we can invest, we think, in a number of areas, both people, but also widening our products and services to other things that our customers want. And of course, investing in marketing to continue to drive our brand awareness and continue to drive those leads back to our customers. All of that investment is possible off the back of the stability we've achieved. And I think that will drive medium-term growth for the business.
And your cash position as well looks strong. How does this position you for further investment as we go into the new year?
Well, it's absolutely a good place to be, obviously. Clearly to have that cash on the balance sheet in these uncertain times, although certainly the times we've been through, we didn't want to invest too much of that when it was unclear where things were heading during the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think going forward, with the revenues growing, that gives us a solid platform anyway, and to further that with the fact that we've got cash as we need it to invest. And clearly that cash will be looking at opportunities that, most investments in the short term obviously absorb cash, but obviously we'll be identifying new areas. So this isn't really just necessarily steady as she goes. This is looking for new opportunities and touch on it again. But here, we've got a new CEO starts today, Jason Tebb. He comes with a wealth of experience in agency markets, and so very much there, the ability to drive forward our proposition, our offering, to widen products and services we offer. He's got a lot of experience in those areas, a lot of experience from the other side of the table as a customer, in effect, as to what will be the most valuable for us to provide. So I think there's lots of opportunity there for us to use our cash position to invest in the future and to grow our business further.
That's great. And can you say anything about any new products or services that you'll be introducing next year, or is that something that will become clearer as time goes on?
It's probably something that will become clearer as time goes on, because as you may imagine, in a competitive space, and I think the portals market is becoming ever more competitive, which actually we see as a good thing, because part of our reason for being here is to introduce that competition into the marketplace. But we've now got a very well-established, well-recognised brand in the listing service, in just the pure listings of properties. I think that platform is now very powerful for expanding a range of areas for new products and services, because we have that consumer footfall to our site. We have that brand now, and we can leverage that in many ways. So I think quite a bit of the hard work is done. There are many challenges ahead, but we're glad to see competition opening up, and we think we're well positioned.
So you say the current state of the portals market is competitive. Do you see this as something that is continuing in the same trajectory?
Absolutely, we would hope so. As I say, we were really brought in, our majority ownership is still agents. We're 65% owned by agents. And the reason agents formed the business was exactly that, to drive competition in the portals market, where perhaps that has been lacking in the past. So we would continue to see ourselves offering ever increasing value to our customers. We are at a low price point. We are committed to being sustainably fair on our pricing. But of course, we still want to add ever increasing value back for the price point we're delivering. So that's the goal. And I think as we do that, as we offer increasing value, then we'll only become more competitive and offer agents a choice as to which services they wish to use.
Right, that makes sense. That's great. Now, to close off, if you feel you've touched everything, could you give our listeners 3 reasons to add On The Market to their Vox Markets watch list?
Of course. I think the first, we've probably touched on all these, but the first is add agent ownership. We have such a strong tie-in with the agent community. We've got thousands of agency firms operating something over 6,000 branches as shareholders, a large slice of the market where we have a very close affinity and alignment. And that also gives us the opportunity to work with them to deliver our portal and to migrate services we offer in a way that best suits them. So I think that's a very strong advantage and differentiator versus any other portal out there. The second, our operational strength, which touched on, but our increasing consumer visits, our increasing leads back to advertisers, that gives them greater value for money, and obviously through that we can drive our performance, and therefore hopefully the value they receive, encouraging them to pay. And then finally, the financial stability and the ability to adapt our portal and grow. I think portals have been a little bit static in terms of evolution for quite some time. But as we know, things have changed, and perhaps COVID-19 has increased the pace of change, the use of IT, the different ways of doing things, more remote, etc. And I think we're well placed, particularly with Jason Tebb joining.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time, Clive.
Thank you very much indeed.
The Vox Markets Podcast with Justin Waite.
And now for the top 5 most followed companies on the Vox Markets platform today. At number 5, we have Non-Standard Finance, ticker NSF. Number 4 is Proactus Holdings, ticker PHD. Blue Jay Mining comes in at number 3, ticker JAY. BPC, ticker BPC, comes in at number 2. And finally, number 1 is On The Market, ticker OTMP, as the top most followed company of today. And finally, the top 5 most liked RNSs on the Vox Markets platform today are Novosit at number 5, ticker NCYT, who's launched a test for a new strain of COVID and are developing 2 further influenza tests. Physiognomics comes in at number 4, ticker PYC, who's received approval for an observational clinical study, which is starting next year. On The Market comes in at number 3, ticker OTMP, with its announcement of the appointment of Jason Tebb as CEO. Escape Hunt comes in at number 2, ticker ESC, with a progress update on its estate. And finally, at number 1 is Open Orphan, ticker ORPH, who has received approval for its nasal COVID vaccine clinical trial.
The Vox Markets Podcast with Justin Waite. Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research. Vox Markets is an online community of investors that runs a free mobile and desktop platform that allows you to track news and updates about any UK-listed company, offering RNS push notifications, detailed charts, pricing data, and much more. Find out more at voxmarkets.co.uk/app.